and all that. So what happened in this kind of case is that, they just finished a season, and it's very important to know that Eriksen did not participate actively during the season, because he was benched in most of the cases. All right, he was benched. He wasn't also happy. So now he had the opportunity to make up the lost glory, what he was known for. So, and when they came back, usually for this international championship, they don't know each other, so they have to blend. The training has to be more intense and all that. Do you understand? And in euphoria of being home, there's also a lot of things that should be in position. So, on the course of now going in for the competition, most probably the heart get overloaded. Overloaded
with what now?
The stress dimension of it.
Okay.
Activity, when the activity now overloaded activity on the heart, it couldn't be in position to carry on. So electrical activities go the other way around. That is one of the things that usually happen in sudden cardiac arrest with a previous positive history in terms with a
positive health check
in the previous brand. So if you look at it, that when Kanu Nwankwo scored the goal, he saw the jubilation.
Yes.
In fact, even some people in their homes jubilated more than the people right there in the field. They ran around, came back, moving from one state to another state, drinking and all that. The excitement was there. Their load, as he went there, a latent problem that was originally quiet suddenly now showed up when the more pressure came on it. All right. So that is one of the causes of such a case. Another one that could also happen is that if there be a sudden detachment of the inner lining of the blood vessel, there's a tearing, and that also happens when there's inflammation. Inflammation could come from it, that the smoking aspect. Inflammation is just like when the body, when the place is inflamed, it used to be weaker.
Yeah.
So if that inner side tears off, immediately the blood clot will want to go and cover that very place. By covering it, it will also cover the entire blood vessel. As we have been talking about here, that heart attack occurs when there is a blockage of the coronary blood vessel, which supply oxygen to the heart. So when the heart muscle doesn't receive oxygen
as it ought to,
it will not be able to follow the contraction. So activities, electrical crisis will now come. The person will collapse and he pass out as he did. So if there be a sudden situation like that, there tendency of him collapsing, and then like attention given the way it was given, and yesterday he was back home and also being with their team. So that's also, and if there be like a family history of heart attack, which is something genetic.
Or heart defect.
Yes, a genetic problem. Sometimes such could also happen. So it is not an indictment to the medical team he has worked with in the previous clubs. This is something that could happen in some occasions.
In this conversation we've had now, you've mentioned something I just did a little clearance on. It has to do with inflammation, and you've mentioned drinking and smoking. I want to see how that is interrelated.
Okay, yeah. The issue is let me put it. Even excessive exercise is not, it's a concern for everybody. When somebody, doctors recommend and say you should do exercise. How come people who dancing,
football,
all these things are unique exercise we all do? I say today, let me go and exercise.
Let me jog down here.
Let me jog down. A young man was doing jogging right on the way. He collapsed. And was doing as if he was doing a press up. People were watching him and thought he was doing a press up. After a while, he slumped there, and that was his end. All right. So the issue is, it is not all exercises are healthy. It's not all. Saying that it's a healthy exercise. No. even when you start a car, there's a rule in this car which most times, because of our hurry, we don't usually appreciate that when you start a car, you don't fire the yeah. There's one of the products that used to do that. There was a time they called back Venza, then that you can, when you start it and fire it immediately, because oil have not gone
circulated.
Round, it will just spark up. That is cardiac arrest of the
Venza.
That is the cardiac arrest of the engine. So when you start exercise, it is a speeding. You do exercise not as if you are planning for Olympics the next day. You first of all start off the usual gradual
process.
Let your body system get to understand that look, we are going in, and gradually you build. It's not the very day. That's why you see most people never did exercise before. The first one they will do, they will not sleep the next day. Why? Because you have a lot of lactic acid built up inside the muscles. The person you will feel horrible. You begin to wonder, is this exercise? This is supposed to be a gradual build up. And that very gradual build up, you begin to also observe what happened. I remember,
to your body.
Yes, I remember what I suffered in Beijing around 2013. I went there and I came into the hotel gym, and I was there. I saw one slim Japanese woman on a treadmill, quickie, and I was all looking at her. Along the line, I said, this woman has been in this thing. What a woman can do.
This man will do better.
I entered the next treadmill on the thing, quickie. The next one, black out. What? I don't feel see again. No. I rushed down and when he's gone, I called my wife, baby, I don't see again. He said, what's the problem? I don't see again. I stayed there gradually.
Until you were able to recover.
The weather cleared. What happened to me? Was it a witchcraft attack?
We don't know. The village people are after you. What happened to you? Explain to us what happened to you.
It's just because the body system have not been adapted to such level of stress. And I want to show up that what a man can do, woman can do, or what a woman can do, man can do better. My friend, it doesn't work like that. So that's why issue that has to do with exercise has to be a gradual excessive exercise build up inflammation in the system. And that's why that level of crack can happen.
Does alcohol and smoking cause inflammation too?
Yes, alcohol causes damage. Alcohol and smoking. You know, one thing is that alcohol slows down a lot of activities
in the body system. So, and smoking also causes vasoconstriction. Those nicotines
causes a lot of heart-related changes in the vessels and also in the heart. So, over the time, and you see, somebody will say, no, this person has been drinking, nothing happened. This person has been smoking, nothing happened. My people say that if rats follow lizard go enter water, when they come out, as lizard quickly dry waka come on, make the rats also because there are a lot of people with different genetic condition. There are families that you can see hypertension running, there see some diabetes running. There are people that such never happen, and they just say, no, this other person they do am, make I do am. There's no two persons that is the same. Wisdom is always profitable to give direction.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, if you're listening to us, it's a great thing we have you on the show with us this Saturday. There's so much we're going to be talking about. I just need to take away some things that were on my mind in the past weeks, what I saw. And I felt that since I have the audience of Dr. Richard Okoye, I might just get quick knowledge over that, which is why we went the way through Eric's. And I do have another question I want to ask. But I want to welcome you to the show this morning. If you're there and you're listening, you might want to call somebody and let that person call another. Let them know that they can listen to us right now on 90 95.1 FM, or they can go on social media and follow Dr. Save a Life on social media, where this is also being broadcast live, so you can catch up on it. We'll be talking about a certain deaths recorded during sex that has become prevalent. We've seen a lot of that, which is actually what we'll be talking about today. We'll be talking about several issues concerning that. Why is it that this affects men more than women? What you should do, or at what time do you need to avoid sex? All these questions will be coming up in just a moment, so you don't want to miss it. I just want to quickly remind you that that is still the topic for today. We'll be getting there. But Dr. Richard Okoye, before we proceed to that, I also know that one of your driving factors, or one of the dreams you've had and nurtured, and you hope you'll be able to accomplish, is to see that the average lifespan of the Nigerian man or woman is increased to above 80. At the moment when we first began to have these conversations, we were at 55. And I was hoping that with what you're doing and with, all the sort of engagements that you're with, and I want to believe that there's several other people out there who also understand this and are doing something actively to change that narrative. But I mean, it's a shocker to find out that rather than improving from 55 years as the average lifespan for the Nigerian, what we do have now is that we've lost 1 year. We're down to 54. What's going on? Are we not talking enough on radio? Are we not? What is going wrong?
Yeah, we have that very optimism, that despite the fact that Nigerian life expectancy moved from 2019 of 55 years after COVID, and then following this unfortunate recent events of people falling, collapsing, and dying, and all that, so the thing came down to 54, and our motivation remained the same, in the sense that it is beginning to be more obvious to us that most likely what we are doing in this very country need to be reviewed when it has to do with the healthcare system, the healthcare of the people, the way we even have our own personal narrative or a kind of mindset towards our own health. Now, I want to bring it home here, because coming to the life expectancy, there's a very major question in this country where those that are attacking me and say Dr. Okoye doesn't believe in witches and wizards, he doesn't believe in spiritual attack, or he attacking a man of God on the basis of this or that. I want us to be in position to sit down. Jesus said that a man had 100 sheep and lost one. He left 99 to pursue, to find out what is really responsible for this one going away and for this one not being able to follow, until he got it back and joy was full. Looking at the life expectancy, it may be very shocking. If you look at the current life expectancy of Hong Kong, 85 years, Japan, 84 years, you have Switzerland, 84 years. Now, did you know that if you get even in North Africans, Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, you have average of 73 years. Look at Ghana. Ghana, by our neighbor, is 64 years life expectancy currently. How come Nigeria, we pray more than any other group? We must not, there's no, at least I've been privileged to travel in different continents now. There's no country that pray the way we pray. And one of the promise of God is that he said, I will satisfy you with long life. And that long life is what is called short here. And that same cutting of short is no longer something that say is happening to unbelievers. It is now knocking on the doors of people that we even classify to be people that are seated far above all those witches and wizards. So something is wrong, and that's why at this point nobody could say, keep quiet. If you know what I know, you will be more furious to understand the horrible mess. If I use this word, is it a deception that is happening in this country when it has to do with the health of the people? How can somebody be ill, and by reason of prophecy, by reason of whatever instruction given by a leader, and say, do not go to hospital, that you going to hospital is an act of faithlessness, or your problem is witches, That is a wicked one that is responsible. And when they build it around this very fellow, who's supposed to see for early medical attention, he will not go to hospital. And by not going to hospital, what's supposed not to be a killer will become a killer. Looking at the issue that has to say we have life expectancy of 54 years.
Yes, sir.
People say that in United States that many people died of COVID.
Yes.
And in Europe, in Italy, people died of COVID. Yes. Why did they die? It's a simple statistics. They have more older people. Like in Italy, for instance, have 22.8 population that are above 65 years. COVID came and went after those old people. If you get to America, you see a lot of 190, 100 and something years, a lot of them. So COVID actually bounced on the immunosuppressed, which happened to be in that age.
Yeah, the elderly.
And that's why COVID came here. It didn't kill us. It didn't kill us because majority of us are young.
Below 50.
Yes, our young generation. So it is not something one would be saying that you see the life expectancy of Nigeria is this. We have to review our religious narrative. I said it, and I want to be very, very raw. We will be drinking olive oil in this current world, for Christ's sake. That somebody now, if you ask him, what do you...
Olive oil not working.
The word olive oil not working is that the fact is that it is not the olive oil that makes the difference. It's God's word. Do you understand me? He sent his word. His word is what he is. So, but people now have it based on the fact the olive oil, the man of God, the woman of God gave to them, and you see they use the olive oil. They will cook. They will use it drink. They will not take their drugs. They will be in position to drink olive oil and all manner of things. Water and all that in the midst of all God has provided. This is the greatest deception of our time. I no longer call it ignorance, because it seems as if some people have taken advantage of the ignorance of the people and keep on pumping this thing in the system. HIV currently doesn't kill people. I've not read somebody who recently died following HIV, but it happens in the church always. Why is it happening in the church? It's happening in the church because the young man that used to take his drug has been told, no, that your sickness is not natural. It is not you that waka. It is the spirit that waka come enter you. And that spirit now has to be in position to be. So he will not take his drug, and you see most of them coming down with a lot of complications, things that are prevented. How many cancer survivors do we have in these countries that you can't find? Why can't you find them? Because they did this thing that abroad, prostate cancer can be cured. Cervical cancers can be cured, intestinal cancers can be cured, but the golden rule here that this has to be observed, this has to be noted early. But where are our people? If nobody wants to talk, this is the time. The death has already cut across. So you're not saying that it is because this person is not spiritually strong. It's cutting across, which means there is a message God is telling us. If our life expectancy is going below any other thing, including Ghana, of all Ghana,
that is closest to us.
It's the closest to us, and then more people are keep on dying like this. It's unacceptable. We continue this campaign. We are very optimistic. We are coming up with the app which will be released in September. People will get to know. You know, darkness cannot dare light. So also ignorance cannot stand knowledge. You see, true knowledge that just one be delivered. So when we make this app available to everybody, I'm gonna show you that they see.
Yeah, you said free of charge.
Let everybody go to know. And maybe at that time all those demonic diseases may go on a temporary retirement.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. But I mean, is there any other way where this, before this September period, maybe we should do this every Saturday? Do you think, where you come here every Saturday and we talk about this so that we help? Is help here? We're just begging that you help us to help. Before the because I think, like you said, ignorance can't stand